Nigerians. Following the attack on Sunday night, the Plateau State government had imposed a 48-hour curfew. However, citizens defied this order as they came out in their numbers to protest the killings. This prompted Governor Caleb Mufwan to come out to address the people. He arrived in an armored personnel carrier and began to address the protesters from inside it. Now, as he struggled to engage with the protesters, he eventually came out of the tank to mingle with the people and later visited those who sustained injuries in hospital.
I have relations that have lived in Kwankwaso. Therefore, this is a pain to all of us. It is not just to a few people. I want to plead with you, please and please, let's not take the laws into our hands. I want to beg you, by the grace of God, all these people will be given a decent burial. We will not allow any mass burial. We will make sure that we liaise with the families and give them a decent burial. They didn't deserve to die like this.
All right, well, let's take a quick comment, this time from Leke Leke. Honest on Leke Leke tweeted, "Our Jos story. Jos Plateau State is where I schooled. It used to be very peaceful, inspiring, good weather, beautiful hills and rock formations, rare plants, beautiful people and culture, talent hub and social skills, among others. I used to walk home very late without looking back to see if someone was stalking or going to harm me. We were like family, my Jos then. Bring back my Jos. What is your Jos story?" Well, all tied into this, meanwhile, an American missionary named Alex Barber has become a prominent part of the conversation. He first trended a few weeks ago after he clashed with the Benue State government over his plans to rebuild homes. Now, he's been on the scene in Jos speaking out against the killings, specifically calling out President Tinubu. Barber, who operates under the NGO named Equipping the Persecuted, has become a polarizing voice, with many questioning the legitimacy of his mission in Nigeria, whilst others celebrate his advocacy. However, it drives the conversation about who the external players are where insecurity is concerned. So several moving parts. Yesterday, we'd taken this story and we continue to see it unfold. We're still waiting to hear a statement from the presidency with regards to this. But heartbreaking, harrowing, Ayo.
Heartbreaking, devastating. And like I said earlier today, every Nigerian should see those pictures and watch those videos, because due to the number of attacks that we hear on a daily basis, by the way, earlier we also spoke about what happened in Kaduna State, what happened in Zamfara State. People were killed. In Kaduna, it was at a wedding. In Zamfara State, more people were killed. And so because we hear these stories, Vimbai, as human beings, sometimes we can become desensitized. A group of people, then human beings become numbers. 24 people were killed, 26 people were killed. But let me talk about that woman, the most jarring, perhaps, image or video from the Jos story so far, aside from the blood spilled on the floor, holding her son. And in disbelief, she was in shock because she was just trying to talk to him. And there's no human being that would watch that video and not be heartbroken. In fact, some people could not stomach it. But it's important so that we understand what is really going on. So we understand the extent and the depth and how bad the situation is, and we can come up with a collective voice to ask and hold our government to account. This is why we do what we do on this table, where we consistently ask that the security agencies, the security architecture, it's not working. It has failed. All the, whether it's kinetic, non-kinetic, unified, not unified, united, not united, it's not working. The government has failed in the area of securing the lives and properties, and there are many families that are heartbroken. I was speaking to a friend of mine whose colleague lost their cousin in the Jos killings, and the person was just crying at work, couldn't hold themselves. Too many families in Nigeria have been touched and affected by these killings. And so the only thing we can say, even though it sounds like a broken record, is that the government does what they're supposed to do. Their primary function, which is to guarantee and secure the lives and properties of Nigerians. And I say this, it takes the will of the government to actually tackle this problem, because it's not an insurmountable issue. It is not a problem that cannot be solved. We were talking about the president of El Salvador yesterday, who was talking about how he had transformed crime reading, with the gangs in El Salvador, and through his determination has solved the problem. So we need that kind of political will. And that's why, over the weekend, politicking was happening and people were dying in Jos. People are dying in Kaduna. People are dying in Zamfara. When will we get a government that actually responds to the needs and the sufferings of the people? That's what Nigerians are calling for at this time. But our condolences and rest in peace to those who have died in Jos. So sad.
Very tragic. I know the Defense Headquarters have put out an announcement that they will be doing an X Spaces today to enlighten the public about kinetic and non-kinetic. So, I suppose we'll tune in and find out what they have to say with regards to enlightening people and citizen engagement, which is welcome. But I think people want to see more action on the ground.
Is that how they're going to bring the perpetrators of Jos to book?
Well, let's hear what they have to say for themselves.
Only one person has been arrested, and that person was spewing hate speech. I think to mention that.
Yes.
But that's not enough. And there's the motive for this. It doesn't mean people can just wake up and go into a community and begin to shoot at random. Those are the kind of things that we want to see. Yeah. And what the intelligence fail? Yes. How could such an attack happen in an urbanized? So those are the kind of questions. It shouldn't be happening in Nigeria of 2026. Those are the questions we're asking for.
It shouldn't. All right, well, we'll continue to keep tabs on this and, of course, on the situation regarding insecurity and insurgency across the country as the days go by. Well, let's now turn our attention to local politics, as Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso yesterday formalized his move to the African Democratic Congress amongst a sea of red Kwankwasia caps flanked by Peter Obi. The highly anticipated moment sparked a call for #Pitakwa2027, as social media also erupted with excitement over the possibility of an Obi Kwankwaso 2027 ticket. Musician Tijani Gandu was also present at the rally, and he led the crowd who sang Fale Daeche, I hope my pronunciation is correct, and this is a song which speaks metaphorically about one term in office. It's widely said to refer to both the president and the governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, and this is all coming together as the Deputy Governor Nasir Yusuf Gawuna has been spotted holding a meeting with Kwankwaso this morning in what many have interpreted as a prelude to his gubernatorial ambition under the ADC umbrella. Let's quickly follow on with more politics, where yesterday Minister of the FCT Nyesom Wike hosted River State delegates and stakeholders from both the All Progressives Congress, APC, and the opposition, People's Democratic Party, Collabo, in his Abuja home. The minister was seen mingling with his guests as a band serenaded them following the conclusion of both APC and PDP conventions, where his loyalists largely emerged in strategic positions in both parties. So the politicking is still happening behind the scenes. We continue to see it play out. I know there was a lot of commentary on it earlier. Ayo, maybe you could just give us a quick note so we can move on.
That another side to this is also the implication for the governors. Earlier on was spoken at national level for presidency, but as you can see in Kano State, it's going to be the battle to the finish against the APC and the ADC, with both of them clashing. The current governor Abba Yusuf and his former deputy, and the Kwankwasia movement, the test of their strength, especially of course INEC giving the people a free, fair and credible election to make their choice. The same thing is also in River State. It's also at subnational level a threat, a veiled threat to to Fubara, that you are out, one-term governor. This is what Wike would like, because he has said it consistently and repeatedly that what he did in 2023, he will never repeat it again. So these are signals. Now, beyond just federal level, we're also seeing coalitions and, strategies for subnational, for governors at that level. So it'll be interesting to see what 2027 will look like. It's not just the presidency, it's also a fight to the finish for the governors, and who will align with who and whose structure will stand the test of time come 2027.
As regards Kwankwaso, yes, I think we talked about this. We knew he was going to go to the ADC. He's finally gone to the ADC. I do not think Kwankwaso, based on the alignment, will want to get a presidential party seat in the ADC. I think the field is already crowded. I do not think Kwankwaso will go head-to-head with Atiku to get a presidential seat. I hear that there were some deals they were trying to broker between the Kwankwaso and Anobi I don't know how that will fly because Atiku's ambition is strong. You've got people like Amici there. And that's why I said this will have been better off in 2023. Kwankwaso now coming around to an area where Obi is reminds me of the Chinese adage that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, the second best time is now. But in this regard, could this second best time be made real? I mean, I don't know. So we'll watch and we'll see in the coming days. That's if even ADC has finished solving their own problem. ADC has got a Nafiu Gombe problem.
He released a statement.
And they're not dealing with that problem. And I think they're just glossing over it. So all of this the ADC said they're doing can be truncated with what the court will rule as regards the Nafiu Gombe scenario.
All right.
I yield the floor.
Now, Dr. Rabiu Kwankwaso has now moved with his NMPP Kwankwansia supporters. The emphasis is on Kwankwansia, because you recall that the factional leader of NMPP has made it clear that they are not going with Dr. Rabiu Kwankwaso to the ADC. Now, what has happened with that movement is that the ADC has been strengthened, and it now has a collection of, frontline opposition figures. You have Peter Obi there, you have Rotimi Amechi there, you have Atiku Abubakar there, and now Dr. Kwankwaso has joined to strengthen that base. His entry into the ADC is also significant because he has significant following in Kano. And Kano, as I've stated previously on this platform, is a very important platform in Nigerian elections. You are talking about 44, 45 local government councils. You are talking about a large proportion of voters. There are some states that you need to win in this country if you want to be president. Kano is one of them. Rivers, Lagos, strategically. And now you have the most prominent politician today in Kano State joining the ADC. He was supposed to have joined the APC. We were told that there were conversations, but then his godson, the governor of the state, joined the APC before him. Now, Kano State is going to be a major battleground, it will appear, in 2027. However, Dr. Kwankwaso has always made it clear that he wants to be president of Nigeria. Now, would they give him the ticket? Will he become a running mate to another person? I've been seeing people saying hashtag Pitankwa 2027, yes. Suggesting that he will be a running mate to Peter Obi of the ADC, now as he is. Now, is that going to work? How is that going to play out? Where does that leave Waziri Adamawa, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar? Will he also just sit back and allow Pitankwa in the ADC? So we're just seeing the early moments of the drama, and there's going to be a lot of drama, either from the politicians themselves or from the entertainment. Rara versus some other people who have been put up by other groups, and also from the media, yes. Who, a constituency that will seem also to be increasingly conflicted in this game. When we get to that moment, we'll look at it.
That's it. I think people are waiting to see whether Abba Yusuf will chop breakfast in Kano State.
They still want to lose Kano State.
Well, let's see.
And Kwankwaso movement would also want to show their strength, that they still own Kano State. So let's see what would happen.